Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Friday night. I have just realised it's 9 o'clock, so that's why I'm a little bit late, but we're here nevertheless. Hopefully you can both hear and see me while I turn some lights on. Now that'd be a good thing to do. How is everyone on this fine Friday evening? I'm a little bit flustered. Ta-da! See that? Got the light above the old play button. We're doing all right there. Who have we got in so far? While I sort out all the other buttons that I need to press. We have Teresa Carroll. Nice to see you. Apple Gal's in. How we doing? A lovely evening from cold and snowy Newfoundland. I'd love to have a wee bit of snow. Oh, that light didn't last long, did it? Brilliant. Those of you who were here early got to see it. Well done, us. Stuart's in from a wet and I assume windy. I'm just going to add in windy. From a wet and windy Wolverhampton. It's a wet Sheffield. A shoggy Sheffield, as they say. We've got Mona Lee's here. Graham Holbrook, good evening all. Good evening yourselves. Leary. And Applegal. Zen Ginger, howdy Graham. AV, good. Volume a bit low. Volume a bit low. No, so somebody else said that to me recently. Volume a bit low. Why is volume low? Volume should not be low. Volume is very high. Volume could not be higher, in fact. Volume is at the most volumey it can possibly be. So something else must be going wrong. What else could be going wrong, Graham? Think about this. Come on. Do some live troubleshooting. Everybody loves it when I do that. Output device. Spatial, more volume settings. Let's have some more volume settings, shall we? Volume's at 100%. Volume's not at 100%. Volume's at 30%. Is that way too loud now? Way too loud. How's that? Is that a bit better? Or if I turn this down and that up, how's that? Gotta love a bit of live troubleshooting. Anyway, gas mask, how we doing from Sweden? Birch 2304. Hot mic. Right, I'm going to have to do this professionally, aren't I? Hang on. As if I've ever done anything professionally. Oh, God. Can I hear myself? Can I hear myself? Can I buggery? Press all these buttons. No. Bugger it. Now I've changed it. I don't know what was going on. So we're sticking with this. Unless this is horrible, then we'll change it. We're going to go with that. Mandy Green, how we doing? Stevie P, he's in the house. Sounds good here. Who was it that said the sound was low? Right, you've caused all kinds of chaos now. Mona Lee. Lee, take yourself away into a corner and have a word with yourself. You've spoiled it for everyone now. I will try and sort this out for next week, unless it's horrible, and then we'll try and do some live sorting it. But I was trying to mount a TV there, so I thought that'll be a great idea. Instead of having my two lights here, I could just have a TV there and put it on white and flood myself with whiteness. Flood myself with whiteness? Is that a thing people say? And then went, oh, it's 5 to 9 and I'm still halfway through this. So we've got things to turn on. Let me turn them on. That tank needs to come on. There we go. That's good enough. The volume is pretty good. He's gear. He is gear. Yeah, it was you. Just make sure you enunciate so she can hear you in a pinch. Oh, I need to do a bit of a trim because probably covering up my mouth with all my beardiness. Right. Beer. Cheers, everyone. Hope you've had a nice day. What have we got for you tonight? Well, you'll be surprised to learn, everyone. I have a quiz, or two, in fact. I have the normal new month of December monthly quiz, where any of you who are members get 3 points. And what's going on with this? Is that better? There we go. Then we have a new eliminator with a new theme and everything in between. I've not prepared anything. I haven't thought of anything, so I'm relying on you to give me some ideas of things to talk about. What have you been up to this week? There you go. Let's use that. What have I been up to this week? Nothing other than work. It's been horrible. I've hated it. Yay, quiz. I mean, some of you would be very surprised to learn that there was going to be a quiz, but there is a quiz. We've had nothing but delightful comments, so we can't have any dickhead comments of the week. We've had have I made a video this week? I must have made a video this week. Oh, I did. I made my office video this week. That was one of my more. I was going for the touchy-feely audience of heartfelt. Oh, I've done a thing and it's done me good and it's been good. So hopefully that would do well, but it hasn't done all that well. So we'll see. I had big plans to take yesterday off, so I was going to take the day off and go and do a few surprise shop visits so I could film some stuff. But I couldn't do it in the end because of bloody work got in the way again. So I might be doing that next week. That might be my getting out of the house thing, where I go out and visit some things, because we had the Practical Fish Keepers magazine awards last week, or the week before that, where they announced all the winners. So I thought I would try and make a start at going round some of they're not local shops, because I think I was going to go to Premier Aquatics and Whirl Aquatics, which is a good couple of hours away from me. Or I could go to the other side of the country and go to Horizon Aquatics and another one. Or I was going to try and fit in Pier as well, but that didn't actually win much this year. Or I could just go down and do Wharf again. So I've got all these options of what I could do. If nobody's a dickhead, maybe pick the delightful comment of the week. That's a good idea. Be more positive, you mean? Yeah, we could definitely do that. So I'm hopefully going to get out the house next week, because I've got one day off to take before the end of the year, other than between Christmas and New Year that I've already done. So I think I'm going to use that to get out and about and do a bit of integrating with the public. That's not what I meant to say, but it's close enough. Graham says, I've just received my new light, another Chiherios. I've heard good things about the Chiherios and the Weak Aqua, I think it is. So I must need to try them one day. I think the dickhead is the guy that in the short that called fish pests. I know. So if you don't know, my proper job is I'm a bit of an IT guy, I guess. So I do watch some tech stuff. And that was a Linus Tech Tips video where they had on Linus Torvald, I can't remember how you pronounce it, who is the guy who invented Linux. So Linux is the operating system that kind of runs the internet, runs the world. It's a big deal. Let's put it that way. So I was keen to hear from him and what he was doing, because I do like the Linus Tech Tips channel, and I like the guy that invented Linux. I think it's great. So I'm sitting there watching it going, oh yeah, he's pretty cool. He's slagging off Elon Musk. He's doing this, he's doing that, the other. And then he came out with that. I was a bit like, you what? Right, that's it. I'm back on Microsoft. I'm all Windows again. Can't be having people talking like that. Fish are pests. I cannot believe it. So that was my little, I thought that would be quite funny if I made a bit of a short about that to point that out. And it's done all right. But yeah, I was a bit not gutted, because I'm sure he doesn't mean it in a nasty way, but how can you not think a fish is a proper pet? That video said it was members only though. Oh no, I just did it members only and if I'm honest, by accident. But I think I left it as members only for like a day and then made it public after that. Yes, as Applegal says there, yes, indeed. I don't really like doing like paywalling videos because as much as I would love it if all of you hit the membership button and gave me all your money and enabled me to quit my horrible job, I want to give other reasons other than my content. I always want to make my video content freely available, member or not. I don't think you should have to pay for that. If you want to pay for things, I'll try and give you other incentives, or maybe you're just being the nicest person in the world and donating out of the kindness of your heart, and that's all fine. But I don't want to paywall my content. It's just not good enough to warrant it. So that's why it was a bit of an accident. But maybe, I guess, releasing things early for members might be a thing, but I just don't get it. I don't get why it's not worth paying to get something a day earlier. I don't know. I've just seen that World Aquatics, and I'm going to go pop down soon. All right. Yes, definitely do so. I mean, I met the guys, so I know of them, and I have met them before, and I think I featured them in one of my live streams from the Aqua event. And I like all their social media content that they're trying to. They're going about it in what I would deem the right way. Not that I'm any kind of expert or any kind of moral authority, but they seem to be going down the road of lots of promotion on social media, showing off their stuff to entice people to come in and do their things. And I like the things that they've got. So they've got lots of stuff on the planted tanks, aquatic gardening, the aquascaping, the hardscapes and all that kind of stuff. They've got lots of different fish. They won Discus Retailer of the Year. So I'm a big Discus fan, so I thought I'll definitely go and check that out. And then the other one that I always follow is Premier Aquatics, because I see a lot of that. And I think I've seen the guy that runs it. He did a talk for my local fish club. And I've bought some fish from him in the past before he was, when he was just like a hobbyist breeder. So I'd like to go and see his shop and see what that's like, because that gets rave reviews as well. And if I do have any kind of sway or pull in this hobby, I think it should be to help people who actually pull the finger out and go and run fish shops, because it sounds like it's not an easy task. And I do have a slightly selfish reason for wanting to talk to them. I don't want to just go and do the old, I've said this many, many times, I don't like fish shop tours, because generally it's, here's one tank, here's another tank, here's another tank, here's yet another tank, here's another tank, and there's yet another tank. Just, they do really well. Don't know why, but it drives me mental doing them, never mind watching them. So I wanted to talk to people as well, so obviously I need to get in contact with them first to see if it's all right, so it's not like a guerrilla attack. I just turn up and go, hello, tell me about your fish shop. I wanted to talk to them about what it's like to run a fish shop. What are the things we don't all think about as customers? Because I might one day want to open a fish shop, so I want to know what to do, what to avoid, all those kind of things. So that, again, it's probably a bit further away in the future, because I don't know if I'm going to get time. Hopefully I'm going to get time next week or the week after to do a bit of that. So we'll see how we get on with that. Mandy suggesting positivity. I know it's not really my shtick, is it? But maybe we could change things. Cheers all. We're starting with a luminous night for tonight. I love IT people. You keep us running smoothly at work. You must be the only person in the world ever to have said that. IT is one of those areas where so quite often I'll be dealing with board level customers and stuff like that, and it's always like, why does IT cost so much? And that never happens. And then there's a problem, and it's, why does IT cost so much if there's a problem with things? And you're like, well, what is it? It's one or the other. You can't have both. So we seem to be a devil, whatever way you look. So it's nice to have some feedback. So if you work in any kind of business where there is an IT team, say thank you every now and again, because they do a lot of work behind the scenes you probably don't know about. Weak Aqua is cheaper for the same effect, but you have to deal with a slightly more fidgety app. So one of the things I'm getting into at the moment, this might be a discussion for later, which I might want to do a bit more testing with lights. But my initial testing is, do you know the Nicrew lights that I got a while back? I'll need to dig out a video and make a special video about this. But the growth I'm getting off these Nicrew lights rivals any other lights that I've tried. No, they're not Nicrew lights. They are Huyger lights, sorry. The growth that I'm getting off these Huyger lights, which do claim to be full spectrum, but I've not yet to look it up and see whether that's actually true full spectrum or it's all the colours of the rainbow are mimicked. But it's fantastic. I'm getting really good growth on them in any tank that I'm used with it. So I'm kind of swapping things around because I've got them on like Mega Tank 1 more than anything else, which doesn't have any plants in it. So I'm trying to get these lights onto the tanks that have got plants in them. And I'm also trying to do more immersed growths and like cultures and things. So taking cuttings and growing things. So I've got loads of like pothos on the go, trying to get that rooted out. I've got loads of my mosses and things like Buse and Anubias and some other plants where I'm trying to grow them in little propagators with lights on top of them. I got these things off Temu that are like plant propagators with 2 LED strips on top. So I'm trying them out with some mossies and things like that, and I'm getting right into it and I'm quite enjoying it. And one of my plans is to maybe get into that a little more heavily so as I can start to, because obviously I sell plants. So if you don't know and you're interested, you can buy plants from me on my website, aquariumadventures.co.uk. Ding! Have I told you about me writing a book? I don't have one. So that's the plug for this evening. But my plants are obviously plants that I buy from a wholesaler. I import them from Holland and then sell them to you, the public. I would like to maybe start my own little farm, and this method of it seems to be a little bit more achievable on a smaller scale, because although I do sell plants, I don't sell tens of thousands of plants. But if I can get my own little cultivation business going where I am propagating mosses and lots of other plants, that would, I'm finding it enjoyable to do, and I think it's interesting. I might get a video or two out of it, and I can then sell the plants for profit, so I bring in income that way as well. But I've also just started looking at in vitro plants, so tissue culturing, and been watching lots of videos on tissue culturing, not just aquatic plants, but just plants in general. I'm going to concentrate on aquatic plants, but I think I've got quite a... I was about to say I've got a bit of a scientific mind. I definitely do not have a scientific mind, but I've got a kind of scientifically interested mind, and that I'm like, oh, I like that process, and that's interesting how you have to keep everything super clean, and you do all your sterilization, and you make your media for growth, and your media for rooting, and your media for starting and colonizing, and they're all different, and it has to be hermetically sealed and all this kind of stuff. I'd probably be rubbish at it, but I kind of fancy giving that a go. So I've been watching loads of things about that, and I think that is quite good, because since I've started selling the in vitro plants, they last a lot longer in storage. So when I get my plants in from my supplier, I usually put them in some of my plant tanks, and there is always an element of wastage. Now that's probably down to me just not actually caring for them properly, but I will lose a percentage of the plants. If I don't sell them straight away, some of them will die off. Eventually they'll come back. There's that whole melting thing that a lot of plants will do. And I don't like, so that's why you'll quite often see on my website, one day I'll have 4 of something and then the next day I'll have none. It's because I'll go to get one and I'll be like, oh, they all look horrible now. I can't sell that. So I don't want to send crap to somebody. Equally, it's annoying because if I do send it to somebody and it dies off in their tank, they're a bit like, oh, this is a bit rubbish. So there's that element of it I need to have a wee bit of a think about. But the in vitro plants don't seem to suffer with that sort of thing, is where I was trying to get to with that. Plus, they last a lot longer waiting to be sold. So I can just store them outside, relatively cool. They kind of go into a bit of a stasis. They're not growing, they're not getting moldy, they're not dying off, they just seem to last a long time. A lot of them, you can just keep them in the fridge and you can keep them for months if you want. So the idea of propagating more plants like that, again, this is a process that takes a few months to get from cuttings to propagations. It's not going to be something I'm doing to make myself a millionaire or anything, but I think it's an interesting thing. But again, that's where I'm getting hit with this. Where am I going to do all this? Where's the space? I have no space to do these things. But that kind of thing can be done on like racking systems. I can just have racks of plants with lights. I'll get them done. So I might be sacrificing a few fish tanks to just have like a plant rack and maybe make like a homemade lab to do some tissue culturing and things like that. So that's kind of where my mind's at the moment. That's what I've been thinking about this week. So I'll now read all your comments where you go, "You're an idiot, Graham. Don't do that. That is a stupid idea." I don't know. So sorry, I'll catch up on some comments now. People keep rats, and they for sure can be pests. Exactly, and they in that video they did talk about rats being fantastic, and I would agree with that. Rats are very clever and very sociable and very good pets. But yeah, they seem a lot more pesty than fish. I mean, it's not like anybody's ever going, "Oh, there's a fish in there." That doesn't happen. Why is my mouse doing that? Phil's in. Evening, Phil. How's it going? Yes, that was rude. I don't understand why you would dislike fish. Exactly. I don't care if I get a big amount of perks. I just like your content. Oh, thank you very much, Applegal. I mean, people like you can stay. My fish is a pet just like my dog. I mean, I can see why if you don't keep fish, it's not like you get to snuggle with your fish on the couch while you're watching TV. So I can get it from that point of view, why you might rank your pets. So I have a dog. I like my dog. I would maybe class my dog as a higher order of pet than my fish, but it doesn't mean that I don't love my fish and my fish tanks as much as I love my dog. I'm trying to think that through as I was saying it to see if it is actually true. I think I stand by that. But I also think that fish is just different. So again, my last video I think is a good explanation of that kind of thing. As much as you can get emotional support from your dog, and you're not going to get an emotional support fish, but staring into a fish tank can give you some benefits. As I explained in the video, if I get stressed at work, I will just go off and do a bit of tank maintenance or look at some fish or cut some plants or whatever it is. And that gives me something back as much as having a snuggle with the dog would do as well. My fish are my babies. Perhaps I need to get a life. They bring me joy. Yeah, but I wouldn't go as far as calling my fish my babies, but I can see where you're coming from. Stuart says, but have they written a book? Unfortunately, they have written a book. I think he's written a few books. And they're probably better than mine as well. How the hell do you make money with a fish shop? A great video series. Yeah, that's the selfish part of it that I want to know. Because I think I've shown you my spreadsheet of me trying to cost out what it would be like to run a fish shop. And it looks like it's going to be hard. I like seeing what the stores have. It's like going virtually, but I can't buy anything. Yeah, and I get to that. I just don't like a lot of the fish shop tours. Maybe I'm just unlucky and it's the ones that I've seen. Is just somebody pointing a phone in every tank with some music on in the background. I'm like, and it's not like it's, oh, there's no commentary to tell you any interesting facts about what they're showing. It's literally just fish, 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 another fish, another fish, fish. It's like guppies, neon tetras. It's not like they're like amazingly rare things that you can't get if you go to any old fish shop. Have a look at it. Or maybe I'm just grumpy. It just reminded me of something. So AI is a part of my job now. So this week I have made an AI agent to replace myself. So I've given it access to every bit of knowledge that I've got. And the hope is that people will ask it questions rather than ringing me up. Go, Graham, how do you do this? What's this about? How does this work? Why has that client done this? Just because must not slag off people from work. So I've made this AI agent that's got all that. And the feedback so far has been like, oh yeah, it's really good. So it's got lots of the information that you hold as well. So I can get that really easy. But it's not grumpy. Like, oh, thanks very much. So I've made a robotic version myself, and the biggest benefit to my colleagues is that it's less grumpy than I am, which I'm kind of proud of, because that means I've cultivated a fear of contacting me because I'll be grumpy about it. It's kind of what I was trying to do, so I'm kind of happy about that. Birch2304 says, anyone had a tank from ND Aquatics? If so, thoughts? I haven't had a tank from ND Aquatics, but I know a few people who have had tanks from ND Aquatics, and all but one were extremely happy, and the one that wasn't extremely happy, I think they were a little bit unreasonable, if I'm completely honest. So, mostly positive, I would say the feedback is. I have a close, friendly relationship with our IT people. Excellent. They're so helpful. I mean, are you sure they're IT people? Because that is not a description I recognise. They don't answer the phone like this. I think all jobs have purpose and they all deserve praise if they're doing their job well. My IT team is awesome. They make it so I cannot download anything and also turned off my USBs. What would I do without them? Oh, bloody light. Why won't you just work? Sorry. Now, to be fair, that's probably misplaced anger, because I know in some of my businesses we've had to do something very similar to that, and it's usually not the IT team that decide to do that, it's the security team that decide to do that, and it's the IT team that are wielding the tools to make it happen. So we get the blame for someone else's decision, because things like that is to make sure you don't steal stuff and take it home or download anything dodgy. I wonder if I can get my Hager light strips that can fit on my Marina LED aquarium lids. I mean, there are lots of different Hager ones, so I would hope that you'd find one that would be able to fit. The Hager pendant light, no, not the Hager pendant light, although I believe that will also do an equally fantastic job. It's the strips, the Hager strips that I got. But the Hager pendant lights are also bloody bright. I think they're fantastic. I'm going to say it. I was about to show you them and I realised they're not on. I think they're fantastic, but I think they could do with an app or some kind of control on them, because it's on or off, and when they're on, it's like, ta-da! The sun's out! And your only control is how high above the tank that you position them. So I think that's where we'd go. Are the Hager lights on lower profile more shallow tanks? As I've noticed, the power you lose with even a few inches of depth is crazy, and definitely affects the plant growth. It definitely does affect the plant growth, but the Hager lights, how would I? So I've got that, and that. They're all on their standard mounts, you know, the slidey out mounts that sit. So they're all on the same height above, and it's not any lower than any other one, I don't think, anyway. It's just I noticed on one particular tank the light died, and it was an old Nicrew one, and I swapped it out for one of the Hager ones, and within, like, I want to say like 10 days, I was like, huh? Where's all that growth come from? And the only thing I had changed was the light. I'd love to give tissue culture a try. Snap, yeah, exactly. I think it just seems dead interesting. This is how far behind I am, isn't it? Sorry, I need to speak faster and read faster. We're also meant to be doing the quiz, so hang on. Let me give you the link to the quiz before we do anything else while I catch up on the chat. Copy link address. Paste link address. Right, I'm now going to speed run the chat. I work with provincial governments, so perhaps our IT is trained to exactly what we use, like databases and networks, so they're just good at their job. In my experience, and I mean no offense to your IT team or any other IT teams, but IT, the hierarchy of IT. What's the word I'm looking for here? It doesn't make anybody who actually does this job hate me. The quality of your IT team seems to go education, government. I'll just say education, government, and then corporate IT of whatever standards. If you can't get a job as a proper IT person, you get a job in government. If you can't get a job in government as an IT person, you get a job in education. It's nasty to say, but I have seen that happen where people who can't hack it in one of my companies have left, joined the government, are taking a government job and excelled there, and people who I know were terrible at it have ended up in education or in government, local government, central government, whatever it is, and kind of found like a niche. It's nasty to say, but that tends to be the hierarchy of IT teams. Scientific adjacent, yeah, that's me. The biggest difference is the intensity in red versus regular aquarium plant lights. Yeah, I think that there's more studying I need to do about lights and exactly what it is that gets there, because I luck on to things rather than plan them out. My social media feed is cute puppies, aquariums, antiques, and science content. I wish I could curate my social media feed better, because it keeps random crap keeps popping in. I need to have like a reset and just start again, I guess. Right, so where did I get to? Give it access to every bit of it. I mean, every knowledge base I have access to. So I work in a certain niche of IT, and my main USP is that I know things. I should get one of those t-shirts. My superpower is I know shit. That's it. But yeah, I've tried to document everything that I know so as I could be easily replaced by a robot. But it's the annoying things is it's not like I'm hoarding all this information. I just know where it is and where it's stored. Anybody else could go and fucking look it up as well, the lazy bastards. Sorry. Move on quickly. Graham, do you go sea fishing or just keep fish? I've never been sea fishing. I would love to go sea fishing. I have been fishing, like course fishing. But I've always fancied like going on a boat, sea fishing. Maybe I'll do it for my 50th birthday, a wee excursion. Aquarium Delirium's in. His AI version looks like Robbie Coltrane. The problem is I need to download our products, and we have had several that can only be programmed via you. Yeah, I mean, IT teams across the world are like given instructions that you're like, this is going to cause more problems than it fixes, because I know certain users need to do things in certain ways, and this is going to break their processes. Do it anyway. It's not you that's going to get the call about it. Yes, it's annoying. It's annoying. Matthew says, I have Hauger lights in all my tanks. They grow coral, microalgae, and my freshwater tank plants. I think for the money, they're brilliant. I couldn't agree more. My only complaint so far is Hauger sent me like 6 of them. And no, that's not true either. Sorry, I was about to slag them off needlessly. They sent me 6 of them, and one of them died within a year. But I thought, oh, that's a good excuse. I can use that. I was going to say 3 of them died within a year, but the other 2 weren't Hauger ones. They were micro ones. It's a good excuse to use the customer service. And I was going to make a video about it, but it kind of failed at the first hurdle, because the first email was like, oh, you're Graham Kerr from Aquarium Adventures. Oh, yeah, we'll send you one straight away. And I was like, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to know what your warranty was like, your customer support and all that kind of stuff. So they have assured me that if I wasn't a YouTuber who had been sent things for free and might make a video slagging them off, which I wouldn't do, that they would have still replaced it. They told me their warranties are levels, and they told me that it's a quick exchange. All they ask is for proof that it's not been submerged if it's not a submergible one, which seems fair enough. But yeah, we'll see. Did anyone watch the World Cup draw? What was that? What was that? Oh, for those of you who don't know about this, the World Cup, football, soccer, never in my life have I seen such a shambles and such a... Why have they managed to break it so badly? It used to be you'd get some C-list celebrity would come up, jangle some balls, and then 10 minutes later you'd have it done. This was like an 8-hour extravaganza with knobhead after knobhead coming out. But the YMCA was being performed at one point. You had old President Knobhead giving it. What was that all about? The most complex set of rules as to who gets drawn against who. And old Rio Ferdinand going, because of reasons, they're not going in that one. We're going to move them over there. It was like... as for Scotland getting the easiest group ever with Brazil in it, it's not that easy. If you can't get an education job, you teach IT. Yeah. Yes. What is it? There's a saying about that, isn't there? Those who can't do, teach. And if you're watching, wife, I don't mean you. We all have our strengths and skills, and we all have a place in society, and all are important. You should be a diplomat. No, some people are just idiots. Nah, the world needs idiots as much as anyone else. Subject matter expert. Yeah, well, I'm not saying I'm the subject matter expert. I just know a lot about a lot of things. None of them particularly useful. Right. Let's see. We were going to do the quiz. We've only got 9 participants for the quiz. Really? Went on that high of getting almost 100 viewers a couple of weeks ago. We're down to 35. It's peeing down with rain, and nobody can make time to come and see poor old Graham doing his unprofessional live stream on a Friday night. Mandy says, deep sea fishing in my early 20s when I realised I suffered from seasickness. Oh, yeah. I had seasickness once. I say I had seasickness once. It was on one of those holidays you go on when you're in between 18 to 20, where lots of alcohol gets consumed. So I think it might have just been sickness rather than seasickness. I know this is the regular quiz, but will the Eliminator be the good old crowd favourite? Answer smash! Answer smash! No, we're trying something. Again, a different format again. Answer smash will be back. Don't worry, people. Answer smash is not going away forever. I thought I'd give you a bit of a break from Answer Smash, though. Right, are we ready? And we need to show the scanny thing to the people who like to scan the scanny things. There is the scanny thing. We have gone up to... I've had a move around in my monitor, so everything's a bit... Oh, what's going on over here? We're up to 10 participants. So this is an easy way for somebody to make some advances and get some early points in the bag, because we're about to go. If I press this button, there we go. We're starting it. Jugglers here. I'm only here for the hot sauce shenanigans. I know I'm going to need to think of what to do this year. I've totally bailed on organising anything again. I was thinking about the music idea we had the last week. I don't think that's going to work. We'll need to see. Right, here we go, everyone. Good luck. Question number 1. Which of these is an example of an 8-track tape? Which of these is an 8-track tape? Where's my face gone? There it is. And remember, if you are a member, remember if you remember what the points make. Prizes! That was loud. You can have some extra points by typing in !75. So, which of these
What do the points make? Prizes!
Why is that so loud? Shouldn't be that loud. One of you has gone for the cinema reel. One of you has gone for a cassette. 6 of you have gone for an 8-track, and one of you's chosen CD. You think that's an 8-track tape? It was that one. 67%. So that means the member points go like that, but 2 of you have asked for extra points, which is Mandy. Which gets you up to 165 and puts you into the lead until I add Lee's. Oh, that's an easy one. You get 75. Question number 2. What
do points make? Prizes!
What South American country, the largest nation on the continent, held this COP30 climate change conference in November? Was it Peru, Uruguay, Brazil, Argentina? You impressed? I didn't do any accents with any of them. I don't know what a Peru accent would be, to be fair. That was Stevie P asking for some points. I'll give them in a second. Where was the COP30 climate change conference? 6 of you think Brazil, 2 for Argentina, and 1 for Peru. It was Brazil. And Stephen P wants some points. He gets 159. Into 3rd place. Well done. It's easy when there's only 10 people because the screen doesn't change. Question number 3. What was named, that's meant to say, Oxford Dictionary's word or phrase of the year this week? What was Oxford Dictionary's word of the year this week? Or phrase, obviously, because none of them are single words. Was it rage baiting, time eating, aura farming, or vibe coding? These were all in the running, apparently. What do we think? Well, rage baiting and aura farming. None of these are real things, says Adam. Well, apparently they're all things. I mean, I didn't realise it, but apparently I'm a vibe coder, and I do vibe coding all the time. I didn't even know it. But the answer is rage baiting, which I thought was a lot older, just like Leah's in. I thought that would have been a few years ago. So, Jugglers in the first, Error 404 and Strabo are in joint 2nd place. Question number 4. What company introduced the cassette tape in 1963? Was it Fuji, TDK, Sanyo, or Philips? 2 tape-based questions tonight. I didn't realise that. Who introduced the cassette tape? Fuji, TDK, Sanyo, or Philips? Was he going for Philips? Because it was Philips. The compact cassette tape was developed by Dutch engineer Lou Ottens for Philips. First presented at the Berlin Radio Show in August 1963. Is there a theme this week? Well, it seems to be tape-based media, but I think that might be the end of that theme. It's not meant to be a theme for this one. Question number 5. Alan Rickman, who plays die-hard villain Hans Gruber, also portrayed the classic Harry Potter nemesis, Peter Pettigrew, Severus Snape, Professor Squirrel, or Lord Voldemort. We are in December, people. This is when the die-hard questions start to make a comeback. So, you know, if you want to do any studying, get that favourite Christmas music back out. The closer we get to Christmas, the more obscure the die-hard questions will get. What do we think? Who did Alan Rickman play in Harry Potter? Oh, Severus Snape seems to be the popular and correct answer. Well done, most of you. Happy Die Hard season, indeed. Question number 6. A man in New Zealand has been charged with the theft of a Fabergé egg. How did he steal it? Did he swap it for a chicken egg, use a fishing rod and magnet, did he stick it up his bum, or did he swallow it? How did the man steal the Fabergé egg? There's a few of you will be like, it's got to be this one. Why would he have put it as an option? Okay, 3 of you put that one. If I tell you that this happened last week and the egg has yet to be recovered, but the man has been in custody because he didn't stick up his bum, he swallowed it. He swallowed it whole. So Juggler, Error 404, and Zenny all went for bum sticking, I imagine. Question number 7. Which of these old-fashioned hats is commonly associated with the fictional detective Sherlock Holmes? Is it a coonskin cap, a balaclava, a deerstalker, or a Monmouth cap? Oh, you read the news that the egg has emerged today? Okay. I was not aware of the latest update. So, yes, as Lee's saying, he didn't stick it up his bum, but it's coming out that way. Right, what do we think? What did Sherlock Holmes wear? He wore a deerstalker. You're quite correct. Man, I went with chicken egg. Thank you very much. I apologise. Question number 8. What artist released the 1984 record with this iconic cover? Is that John Mellencamp, Bruce Springsteen, Bryan Adams, or Billy Joel? Whose album is that? Oh, Bruce Springsteen or Bryan Adams? Was it Bruce or Bryan? It was Bruce. 1984, born in the USA. Juggler in first, Zenny in second, Error 404, the mysterious Error 404 in third. Question number 9. What is the name of this painting? The most expensive 20th century work of art ever auctioned, selling for $236.4 million. Is that The Lady in the Emerald Dress, Study for Leda and the Swan, Portraits of Elizabeth Lederer, or The Countess of Silverwood? $236.4 million. Oh, a good spread on this one. But the answer is C, A Portrait of Elizabeth Lederer. Gustav Klimt's Portrait of Elizabeth Lederer sold to an anonymous buyer for $236 million. Watch. Hang on. The most expensive 20th century work ever. Second only to Leonardo da Vinci. Fine. I'll give you that. Yeah, that has to be laundering. It's got to be, surely. Right, we have your first gambling question of the evening. Here comes your cryptic clue. You bet any amount of points you want to, depending on your level of confidence. For the bird lovers. For the bird lovers. This one's for the birds. What is this family of birds called, named after the noise of their rapidly beating wings? Are they buzzing birds, humming birds, zipping birds, or flapping birds? They're not always hard questions. Hence the strategy element. I saw year 3 paintings better than that when I was teaching primary school. Yeah. Me neither, Adam. But when art goes for that amount of money, it's not art at that point. It's got that value. It's got to be something like money laundering. Everybody got it right. It was indeed hummingbirds. So how well you did there depends on how well you betted. Betted? That's not a word. Bet. Question 11. Which South Park character is recognisable for his orange hooded parka? Is it Kyle, Kenny, Stan, or Cartman? In other words, who dis? Oh my god, they killed Kyle. Oh my god, they killed Kenny. Oh my god, they killed Stan. Oh my god, they killed Cartman. Whoa, everybody got that one. It was, of course, Kenny. So it was all about who was fastest there. I think Juggler got that one with 89. Question number 12. Which of these steak cut names originated from a type of restaurant? Porterhouse, Flatiron, Ribeye, or Skirt? Which of them comes from a restaurant? Itchy news. 2 ribeyes, 7 porterhouse. Tell who the meat lovers are. It indeed is a porterhouse steak. Porterhouses were restaurants in the 1800s that sold a type of beer known as porter, and they sold thick steak cuts from roasting meat. Juggler in first place, ahead of the mysterious Error 404. Mandy creeping into third place. As we go on to question number 13, while I have a quick refreshment break. What's the name of this traditional Scottish hat? Is that a sponduli, a wee barra, a baffy, or a tam o'shanter? So we've had 2 tape questions and 2 hat questions this week. Neither of them were intentional. That's Super Grand's Bunnet. Yes, I might have told this story before, but when I was in primary school, all the desks were arranged by Super Grand characters. And I was on the Scunner's desk. Mandy is adding hat names right under geography and history for stuff I don't know about. So what have we gone for? We have 1 person thinks it's a sponduli, 1 for a wee barra, 4 for a baffy, and 3 for a tam o'shanter. It is indeed a tam o'shanter. Sponduli is like a slang word for cash. It costs a lot of spondulis. Well done, Juggler, Stevie P, and let someone else win. Question 14. What 1980s #1 hit song contains the lyrics, "So put another dime in the jukebox, baby"? I tried to not sing it in case I gave you a clue. Is it "I Love Rock and Roll," "Living on a Prayer," "Let's Go Crazy," "Stars on 45"? Meh, 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 meh. Put another dime in the jukebox, paper. Club singer style. Ompra crash. Ompra crash. Ompra. Hello. It was "I Love Rock and Roll." So put another dime in the jukebox, baby. Well done, most of you. Is let someone else win the same person as Error 404? No, the mysterious Error 404. I don't think we will ever find out who the mysterious Error 404 is. I'm assuming let someone else win is Adam. Say something, Error 404. Make my day. Question number 15. Another steak-based. I've had all the questions are coming in pairs. Which of these steaks found on menus around the world is known as a T-bone? Which of these steaks is known as a T-bone? We've had 2 steak questions, 2 cassette questions. Who knew? Everyone going for the T-bone steak because it's the T-bone steak. Juggler again with fast fingers. Sea looked delicious. It did look nice, didn't it? Question number... Hang on. AI Quizmaster, I'll have you know, all these... There's no AI involved in the quizzing. AI... I'm a big advocate for all things AI, and the one thing it can't do is write bloody quiz questions, or it would make my life so much easier. It is terrible at it. Question number 16. Where did the fleece-lined sheepskin Ugg boot originate? Was that Wales, Switzerland, Australia, Germany? That's not even a German accent. Wales, Switzerland, Australia, or Germany? Where are Uggs from? Oh, according to you lot, they're either from Switzerland or Australia. They are from Australia, mate. The sheepskin-lined Ugg boot. Why would it be from Australia? Why are they... Do they need their feet heating up in Australia? Well, I don't get up with it. Juggler, Error 404, Mona Lee, and Let Someone Else Win, all getting that one correct. Question number 17. What did camera brand Canon name their company after? Was it A, their founder, B, a big cannon, C, their previous business making cans, or D, a Buddhist goddess? Apparently they have a large sheep farming business there in Australia. Yeah, I think they've got a lot. They've definitely got a lot of sheep, but they've also got a lot of heat. So why are they making sheepskin shoes? Where did Canon's name come from? Was it their founder, a big cannon, their previous business making cans, or a Buddhist goddess? It was a Buddhist goddess. One person got that one correct. Well done, one person. Japanese company Canon Inc., named after its first camera prototype, Kwannon, inspired by the Buddhist goddess of mercy. Now you know. Well done, Mona Lee. I think we get a round of applause for that. I think if you're the only person to get a question right, you get a wee round of applause. It's only fair. If anybody hasn't taken their free points yet, remember, you need to ask for them. We've only got 3 questions left. And here comes question number 18. What genetic condition did a controversial new documentary on Adolf Hitler purport that he suffered from? Was it a micropenis? It's a funny word to say that. Hemophilia, no sense of taste, or colour blindness? What did the new documentary about Adolf Hitler say he suffered from? Was it a micropenis? I can't say that without laughing. I'm sure it's not a laughing matter if you have one. I'm sure it's fine if you have one. I don't. Stop talking. Hemophilia, no sense of taste, or colour blindness? What do we think? 4 for micropenis and 4 for colour blindness. 1 for hemophilia. It was, in fact, micropenis. First time anyone's ever cheered micropenis. Yay! Recent DNA analysis suggested that he'd likely suffered from Kallmann syndrome, a rare genetic condition linked to hormonal deficiencies that result in undescended testicles and potentially micropenis. There you go. At least he wouldn't have got his caught in a zip. Yes, I speak from experience. That is not a fun thing to happen. Although it's Hitler, so, you know, can I wish it on him? Juggler, Stevie P, Strabo, and Mona Lee all getting that one correct. Well done. Juggler in a bit of a commanding lead, has to be said. So you have to be hoping for the final question to make up some points if you want to catch him. Here comes the penultimate question. What English actor again stars as private detective Benoit Blanc in Wake Up Dead Man, the third installment of the Knives Out series? Is that Ewan McGregor? That's not, because he's not English. Is it Daniel Radcliffe, Daniel Craig, or Jude Law? Giving you a hint. It's not Ewan McGregor. I didn't write this question. It wasn't AI, but I didn't write it. Mandy can't wait to see this. Love these movies. I guess you'll have got this one right then. That it is, in fact, Daniel Craig. Right, as we move into the final question, which again is another gambling question. Here comes your cryptic clue. Good luck, everybody. Just for Mandy, a bird/geography combo. For some reason, the lights on this tank have just come on at 10:10 at night. What continent is the original home to these flightless birds, the largest avian species on Earth? Is it Asia, Africa, South America, or Australia? Where are these birds from? Asia, Africa, South America, Australia. So have I conned any of you into not betting because you were worried about the geography angle? Or have I conned any of you into betting on it and you have no idea what this thing is? This just gives me a chance to talk about the name of this bird. So this is an emu. It's not an emu, it's an ostrich. I just read someone saying, is this an emu? This is an ostrich. Which I used to always get confused with an emu. And then I met some American people who, do you know they call emus emus? Emus. What's wrong with you all? Anyway, 5 of you think it's from Africa, 3 of you think it's from Australia, 1 of you thinks it's from Asia, but it is in fact from Africa, because it is an ostrich. The ostrich originates in Africa, where it can clip across the plains at 43 miles an hour, despite being 9 feet tall and weighing over 300 pounds. Apparently it takes something like an hour and 40 minutes to boil an ostrich egg. There you go. Facts.com. Boop, boop. So, what has that done to the scores? Your winners are, in third place, Fable with 2,778 points. In second place, Error 404, the Mercedes Error 404 with 2,934 points. And in first place, your winner tonight, oh my god, it's Sadie McGinger! What has happened to Juggler? He must have had a finger slip or an accident. Oh, he's gone down to 0 points. Did you think it was an emu and get confused? Or think they were from Australia? Should have been the camera question. You'll have 13 more than me, Mandy. Well, she's got a lot more than 13. She's got 3,067 points. Well done, everybody. Thank you for playing. Let me do a quick bit of admin now. We need to do some live spreadsheeting. Open that one up. Nope, that one. Nope. Yep, December. Week 1. Over there. Player rankings. Delete that. So you've all got, well, those of you that scored points anyway, an advantage because you've got this many more points than anyone else because you're the only people that turned up this week. So everybody's in the top 10, even those you scored 0 points because there was only 10 of you. Congratulations all. I hope that does well. Oh, I've missed you out, Senny. It's too high. Sorry. There you go. 3,067 points. Let me just save that and get rid of that. I did mistake it for an Australian emu. I don't know if I prefer that or not. I kind of like saying emu. Yes, everyone chat amongst yourselves while the gracious host does some maths. Some live spreadsheeting. Everybody loves it. I was out shoveling snow. Don't worry about it. I don't think you should be shoveling snow with wine. That sounds dangerous. Right, so we've got one more. We've got one more quiz for you, but we'll do that in a wee while. We'll take a bit of it. No, we'll press the wrong button altogether. Do that. Well, as the lights have come on in this tank, we'll show you this tank. I don't know why the lights have come on in this tank. I was messing about with it earlier, so maybe that's why. I'm really enjoying this tank. I don't know why I didn't get into this before. So in there, I've got 3 species of mbuna. I think I've seen some breeding action. There's at least 1, if not 2, that appear to be holding. I forget the name of them now. The ones that change colour as they start to sex out. They're starting to do that now, so that's pretty cool. And I've got a bunch of bristlenose in there to take care of the ridiculous amounts of algae because of these ridiculously bright pendant lights from Hooger. I do love the shimmer that they give. Brilliant. So I was wondering what else we could add to that tank because it is quite a big tank and there's not that many fish in there. But one thing I am worried about is creating a problem. It all seems fairly harmonious at the moment, so I don't know. Is it Anubias and Java Fern? It is largely Anubias and Java Fern. I've gone with quite hardy plants to give them the best chance of surviving. And yeah, they largely have done pretty well. In fact, it is exclusively Anubias and Java Fern. I'm just looking. There's a few different types of Anubias, but yeah, that's what we've got. And they're doing all right. And I'm growing some pothos or some devil's ivy out of the tank as well, trying to get it to spread around the room and make it a little bit more greenish. I accidentally introduced a pond snail in both of my nano tanks on Wednesday. Should I be happy or afraid? I kind of like the little guys. Do you mean like a bladder snail? Little... It depends. Some people think snails are the devil. I don't mind them. It's the snail infestations that I get a bit worried about. Although they can be a good indication of whether or not you're overfeeding. So if you're not overfeeding, it might just be another little critter in your tank, and that's kind of fine. No, a proper pond snail. Yeah. I mean, if you don't mind it, then it's fine. They were the only plants to imbibe it. Well, I think it was you that told me that they were a good one to start with because they weren't easily chomped upon. Let's put it that way. And they haven't been easily chomped upon. Every time I try and put a bristle nose in my African tank, they beat the crap out of it. Well, I've got about 6 or 7 juvenile bristle noses, and they're growing quite rapidly. They seem to be doing okay. So far, so good. I just love how busy it is. They're just always on the move. As soon as the lights come on, it's like don't stand still. Talking of bristle noses, did anyone following me on Instagram or Facebook? Let me see if I can find it. I had a rare appearance from one of my plecos. Oh, no. Shut up. Stop. Silence. How do I make it quiet? There we go. A rare appearance from one of my plecos in the big discus tank. And it's humongous compared to the last time I saw it. This is a fish I see once a month tops. The last time I saw it, it was really quite small. And now it's a big old fat munter. But look at that. Look at that mouth go and the gills. I was quite impressed. I was quite impressed with this shot. I think the mouths of all plecos are just super weird. L184 or 183, I can't remember. I think peppermint pleco, whatever they are. Rubbish at remembering the L numbers. Or is it a starlight? No, it's a peppermint. I'm sure it's a peppermint, which apparently is an L30. Pardon me. Yeah, I've got a few interesting plecos. So we've got in this one, in this tank, I've got quite a big. What's the name of it? Come on, Graham, you idiot. Fancy pleco. I've got a few snow whites, a vampire pleco, I should write this down. Print it on a board up here so I can remember it. So I've got a few different interesting plecos, and the plan was to get them all into Mega Tank 2, because I think that's such a big tank that it's really interesting that you just see them every now and again. But I'm thinking about just keeping a bunch of them in that tank and breeding them, but also that's the tank I'm thinking about sacrificing to do my plant businessy thing. So we'll see. We'll have to see. Applegal says plecos are hilarious to me. I mean, I kind of don't get the love for plecos sometimes. It's a fish that you rarely see. In a lot of tanks, you rarely see them. And when you do see them, they're like this. And then they're off. Or on the rare occasion that they have to come and try and clean a bit of glass and you get to see the jaws and all that kind of stuff, and you go, oh, that's really cool. But the way some people talk about them, I'm like, oh, I don't really get it. Yeah, some of them have cool colouring, some of them have cool markings, but they're not the most active of fish, and you don't really see them very much. But still, I do like them. They are cool, and when you read a bit of the history of them and how, yeah, I can get it from that sense of it. But the way some people go on about them, that one's got tiny dots. That one's got a higher density of dots. That one's dots are slightly bigger, so therefore it's worth hundreds of pounds more. And you're like, what? I don't know. Don't let Rebecca hear you say that. Exactly. I'm not that into Plecos. Well, exactly. That's what I mean. To me, they're a glass and surface cleaning machine. I mean, I don't. Although they do that, I don't really agree with buying fish to do jobs as much as I have a lot of fish that do jobs for me. I do think you have to appreciate them for what they are, and sometimes you have to just get them to then appreciate them for what they are. And I think plecos are one of those things that breaks the rules. So, like African cichlids, for a long time, I was kind of scared of getting African cichlids because I just didn't understand it, and people would use words that I wasn't familiar with and terms that I wasn't familiar with, and like say things like, "Oh, you can't have haps and peacocks." Oh, you idiot! And I'm like, "A what and a what? Why not?" Oh, nobody will answer you. Whereas with plecos, it was more about when I first started the hobby, there was like a fear of the common pleco, which doesn't seem to exist anymore. But it used to be go into a fish shop and they would have common plecos and they'd call them cleaning crew, common pleco, 10 for £1 or something. They were all over the place. And they'd be these little things that look like bristlenose plecos that you put in your tank, and then 6 months later they'd be 3 feet long. And you'd be like, what am I going to do with this now? But I can't remember the last time I saw a common pleco anywhere. It seems to have been eradicated. And even now, I've heard people talk about common plecos when they actually just mean a regular ancistrous brown bristlenose. Bristlenoses were what got me interested in plecos, because I thought, that's a bit weird. Look at the face on that fish. It's got these big things sticking out of it, like big feelers. And then it was like, oh, you can get a super red version of that, can you? That's pretty cool. Oh, you can get an albino version of that. That's pretty cool. And then, oh, you can get like ones with spots and ones with stripes and ones with this and ones with that and all that. But to a T, you never see them. So it was just a very much... Well, I think they're cool, and to see all the armor and the way that they've evolved and how they've come to be what they are, it's very interesting. But as a fish, sorry, Rebecca, they're not the most active of fish. They're not the most interesting of fish. But I get from a scientific point of view that they're very interesting because of the things that you can study with them and learn about them, and the way that they've evolved is just mental. But just sit there. A lot of people say this about discus, because quite often a content discus is just like, and like people will come in and look at my discus tank and go, oh wow, there's cool big fish, that's really colourful, yeah, that's right, that's ace. That's it then, is that all it does, right? Okay then. And then they'll go and they'll look at, I don't know, a goldfish or something. They're like, oh, look at the goldfish, giving it, or the imbunas or something else that just seems more interesting. So I get it, it's specific to the person, whether you like that fish for one reason or t'other. So I don't want to say that plecos are rubbish, because they're not, and I do understand and I do appreciate them to a degree, but at the same time you're a bit like, you could add a pile of goofy clown loaches with the imbunas. Do you know what? Clown loaches are something I have never kept. Mrs. Hardwater Jennifer, hello there. If you have wood in the tank, you'll find them along that. I mean, they will tend to bury into caves and stuff like that, but that's what I mean. They hide away. That's their main thing, is to hide away. But saying that, when you just walk past like I did this evening, you go, oh, there's that fish. You get a little bit of an endorphin boost. You're like, ha, there it is. Yeah, you're not dead. I've got a Queen Arabesque pleco that I think I got at an auction like 4 or 5 years ago, that is in a tank, because I saw it not that long ago, but I have gone years between seeing it. And sometimes that tank I have thought has been empty and has been practically drained of water, and I haven't fed it in weeks and weeks and weeks. And then I've decided to repurpose it and fill it with water, and I go, oh, and it'll just swim out like that. Hello, I'm off behind this stone now for 6 months. Bye. Oh, that's weird. Fancy plecos don't clean anything, they're just lazy. The Chinese restaurant near me has a big common pleco on their tank. Too big. Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen them, and you used to see them all the time. You could say that they might be considered pests. I think they're definitely pests when they have been released into non-native waterways because they are very good survivors. So they're hard to predate on because they carry so much armor and their sheer size, and they're prolific at breeding. They're just so adaptable to all different types of water conditions. So it could be a sewer, it could be a ditch, it could be a river, a canal, or whatever. They're like, yep, this'll do. Box stores will fail to say maximum size and tank space that will be needed. I mean, yeah, I've seen, so in the UK, our big box store for pets and things like that is probably Pets at Home, which is probably akin to a US Petco or something like that, or PetSmart or something like that. And I mean, I've been the first to slag them off in the past for the way that they label their fish and the advice that they give about their fish, but they're kind of trying. But there was one I saw recently that said something along the lines of, it was an Oscar and it had a max size of 5 to 6 inches, and I'm there going, I have an Oscar that's like 3 months old that's 5 to 6 inches, and in a week's time it'll be bigger than that. What planet are you on? So I'm not sure where they get some of their information from, because it's not like it's specialist stuff. It's like really common, like an Oscar. It's not like it's super exotic fish that no one's ever heard of and they're just not sure of the water parameters required. Hi Shine Aquatics, hello, thank you very much for subscribing. So I don't get why they get simple stuff like that wrong. I get kind of protective over a lot of the hate that they get is often because they're not an aquatic specialist. So if you were to give someone advice, it wouldn't be don't know nothing about fish and go to Pets at Home expecting to get the best advice. However, I have been to, there's several Pets at Homes around here. I have been to some of them and spoken to people who are clearly hobbyists and have the same amount of information and interest in fish that you or I might have. And some of them might even watch my videos and have watched my videos. But those people, they don't work 24/7. They have to take lunch breaks. They have to take holidays. They might not work 7 days a week. And it's not easy for Pets at Home to make sure that the fish section is staffed by a fish expert at all times. So you will get somebody who took that job because they love rabbits or gerbils or cats, and they just have to cover the fish section because there's nobody else around there. And you go up and ask them a question, and they turn around and they read that bit of paper that says an Oscar's only going to get to 5 inches, and they tell you, yeah, I'll be fine in your 30 centimetre tank. So it's a bit unfair to punish them from that point of view, but if they could just put a little bit more care into the guides that they publish. I mean, that saying an Oscar will only get to 5 or 6 inches is just stupid and easy. I would be happy to offer my services to Pets at Home and review what they're going to put on cards. And I'm not even an expert in fish, but I'd be able to catch 99% of the stupid things that they put on their care guides or their requirements. And that would solve the majority of the problems. So I don't want to be too harsh on the big box stores because they kind of do what they do, and sometimes you can get really good deals because they are a big box store. They have a lot of buying power, so they can get things a little bit cheaper, and sometimes you can get some good deals. So at the end of the day, that's not too bad. But I would always say, if you really don't know what you're doing and you do want to get the best advice, go to a dedicated fish store, because everybody in there probably has an interest in fish. But even that isn't a fail-safe way to give advice, because I say this a lot. Sheffield is not well served for fish stores, but the ones that it has had in the past have been terrible. There's one that I was given terrible advice on multiple occasions, and so you can't really just say because it's a fish shop they'll have great advice. You have fish shop owners who are struggling and desperate to make a sale, and will say whatever they need to say to make the sale. And you have fish shop owners that are dedicated hobbyists and will do the best for whatever it is the fish that they're trying to sell and want to bring the whole hobby up. So we'll never give you bad advice at the cost of a sale. It's hard for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing to differentiate between them. So it's a tricky thing to navigate. That's all I'll say. Graham says, I had a golden nugget pleco in a tank and I thought it was dead. I hadn't seen it for over a year until I broke the tank down to read. Yeah, that happens to me all the time. And it's always with that Queen Arabesque. In fact, I need to get it out and put it in the big tank. So it deserves to live a good life, because it's been living in this tank for years with me thinking it was dead, basically. I agree, not all pet stores have bad fish keeping staff. It is best to know at least something yourself before buying. Yeah, it's best to know something yourself. Don't rely on others. No, but you should be able to rely on your pet retail outlet to give you advice about that. The same as if you were to go into a car showroom, you would expect them to know a little bit about the car that they were trying to sell you. Or if you went to a kitchen shop or a sofa shop, you would expect a level of competence. And even if you were speaking to the Saturday boy, who was just there because it was a job that he was able to get, if he's trying to sell you an armchair, doesn't know anything about the process of creating or building chairs or what materials are used, if he has to turn to the label or the sales information and just read off that should be correct. He shouldn't be telling you it's leather when it's clearly made of cloth. Same thing applies for pet stores. They need to do better. That's the thing I need the Pets at Homes or the Petcos or whatever to do better at, is just to... They are so big that they should be able to get that right. I've even had it with... I used to have this, almost a campaign against Pets at Home, because they used to say, don't buy your fish tank on the same day you buy your fish. You know that's not going to work. You need to at least give it a day. Like, what the fuck's that going to do? No. I like your intention, but no. Just because you've aged your water for 24 hours doesn't mean you're going to have an established filter or any of those other things. So, no, they need to do better. Yes, this one here. So, as Maddie's saying, I was in Pets Home the other day and overheard a member of staff tell a customer to let the tank settle for a day before adding fish. And I have had discussions with Pets at Home staff who have been given disciplinary action and given into trouble for taking down the signs that say that, because they know it's wrong. But the corporate message is, no, this is what we say, this is our advice. Leave that sign up. So they were having to go to people saying, I know it says that over there, but don't do that. Right, pardon me. We are getting on a bit, so I want to move on to the exciting stuff. Find it. We've got the Eliminator. Oh, where's the Eliminator gone? Oh, hang on. Oh, I need to reset the timer. Sorry, everybody. Just give me a second. So, the theme for today's quiz, the Eliminator, is not, you'll be sad to hear, and to smash. That'll be making a comeback next week. The theme this week is the Mandela Effect. So the Mandela Effect is when a group of people have a shared delusion where they think a thing is a thing when the thing has never been a thing. That makes sense? So it's a shared belief in something that has never been, that is not true. So, for example, if you were to ask 100 people, what was the name of the show that was set in New York? And I instantly can't remember any of the characters because I never watched the picture. But is it Sex and the City or Sex in the City? And if you ask 100 people, more than half would say it was called Sex in the City. But the show was actually called Sex and the City. And that is an example of the Mandela effect. Apparently, it was named because they did a survey of 100 people, and more than half of the people thought that... I think the question was posed as, what year did Nelson Mandela die? Was it 2012, 1987, and various other dates? And more than half of the people chose 1987. They all thought Nelson Mandela had died at that time. And these were 100 people from different parts of the world, totally diverse backgrounds, completely all made up. So it was like a shared delusion, essentially. And that is me waffling enough to change all the timers down to 30 seconds, because I'm only giving you 30 seconds per question. That means you've not got enough time to Google it, hopefully. So I trust you guys. You're not going to be big fat cheaters, are you? I want you to I want you to play fair. And here we go. There you go. Right, there is the Eliminator. So the Eliminator is the Eliminator because it's meant to get harder as we go along. I've kind of forgotten about that now. So it's just quiz 2. I don't think they're in any particular order anymore. Again, as I say, I was putting up a TV before we started the stream tonight, so, these things take a while. So that's the link for the Eliminator. If you want to play, all you have to do is keep playing. If you get all the questions right, as soon as you get one wrong, you're out. You can keep playing, but you have been eliminated. But if you get them all right, you get a hearty well done. Teresa says, I won't be here next week. I'm going away. Well, that's lovely that you get to go away, if nothing else. We will miss you, but, hope you have a great time when you're going away. Like, what did Darth Vader say to Luke? Exactly. That might even be one of the questions. The very first question. The Fruit of the Loom design. That might be one of the questions too. Shit. It's only a delusion if I don't believe it. If I believe it, it's clearly a wrinkle in the fabric of space and time. Yes, very good. Right, so we've got 11 people playing this one. There's more than played the main quiz. Yeah, some area in Africa. Well, apparently it was all over the world. So it seems that there was a significant portion of survey respondents that thought he died in jail when he was in prison. And this was at the time when he was president of South Africa, I think. So like, oh, okay. Applegal's in, yep. I think it was people thought he died. Yeah, thought he died in prison. Exactly. Right, so we're ready to go, or do I need to show you the scanny thing? We do, we don't. We do. For those of us that like scanning the scanny thing, there is the scanny thing. And we'll start the countdown now. And a surprise to no one, the first question might be, what phrase does Darth Vader actually say? Does he say, no, I am your father? Does he say, Luke, I am your father? Does he say, I am your father, Luke? Or does he say, Father I am, Luke? What do we think? Refreshment time. What do you think? Oh, well, we're losing some people straight away. That's what he actually says is, no, I am your father. In my best James Earl Jones accent. Accent? Impersonation. That's what I meant to say. Zany McGinger, Era 404, Juggler, Mona Lee, Hazy Memory, Harry K, Stevie P, and Apple Gal are all still in. Well played. Question number 2. In Forrest Gump, what does he actually say? Does he say life is like a box of chocolates? Life was like a box of chocolates? Life can be a box of chocolates? Or life is a box of chocolates? Life's like a box of chocolates. I can't do the Forrest Gump impression. My mama said life was like a box of chocolates. No. Sorry. Sorry, Americans. Juggler says, I'm glad I got that one right. Yeah. Especially as how he called it out as the example. So, in Forrest Gump, did he say, my mama said? Mama. That sounded like Chris Eubank. My mama said, life is like a box of chocolates. Was it A, B, C, or D? Let's stick with that. You thought it was either A or B. It was B, the Mandela effect in full effect. More than half of you thought it was... Well, no, that's not right, is it? Okay. Apparently there's 12 people playing, but there's only 10 answers. But more of you thought it was the wrong one. Oh, ouch. We've only got 3 people still in. Unless, of course, you're a hero member, and then you get an extra life. Question number 3. On the Fruit of the Loom logo, what used to appear behind the fruit? Is it A, nothing, B, a cornucopia, C, bananas, or D, hay? And the image is just a t-shirt, because I couldn't find anything to do with Fruit of the Loom without showing you the logo. So, the shared delusion on this one was that it was a cornucopia. But it was, in fact, nothing. Should have done an image choice. Yeah, should have done. Mandy says, I am part of this delusion. This one is just not true. There absolutely was a cornucopia and I will die on that hill. Well, unless we're all being hoodwinked by the cornucopia mafia or something like that. Question number 4. Did Pikachu ever have a black tip on his tail? Simple yes or no. So he has black tips on his ears. Does he have one on his tail? Pikachu. Most people going for no. Most people correct. It was indeed no. He does not have a black tip on his tail. Question 5. Is the Monopoly man wearing a monocle? No or yes? The Monopoly man is not wearing a monocle. Apparently, Mr. Peanut is to blame for this one, because the answer is no. So 7 of you got that one correct. So let me just double check something, because that doesn't seem right. We have Juggler and Mona Lee all on 4 correct answers. Strabo, Hazy Memory on 3, Skinzarno on 2, Harry on... Oh, that's the eliminated people, sorry. 5 for 5 is correct. Zenny McGinger, Error 404 on Stevie P. But Juggler and Mona Lee have only got 1 wrong. Question 6. How is the Kit Kat logo written? Is it Kit-Kat? Is it Kit Kat? Or is it Kit Kat? So, if you enjoy a Kit Kat, how is the logo written? There's an obvious flaw to this game, in that if you assume something, then you're probably wrong, so just go with the other answer. With the yes-no ones anyway. So 4 have gone Kit-Kat, 6 have gone Kit Kat. It's Kit Kat with no dash. Oh, hang on. Kit Kat with no dash. I forgot to choose a right answer on that one. Zenny's still in. Well done, Zenny. It's all on you. Pressure. Question 7. What colour is C-3PO in Star Wars A New Hope? Is he gold with 1 silver leg, fully gold, fully silver, or gold with 2 silver legs? Oh, did I go the wrong one? Graham made a boo-boo.
Wake up! Graham, wake up!
Sorry. Yeah, so Zenny's out. Stevie P and... was it Strabo or Error 404? I'm still in. I don't know if that will have reversed scores. No, it didn't. Hang on. There might be a thing. Right. Whoever was the last three that was in, because Mandy gets an extra life anyway, so she's lost it now. So Mandy, Stevie P, and I think it was Strabo. No, it can't have been Strabo. It must have been Error 404. Right, what colour was C3PO? 5 answers. 6 of you said he's fully gold. But he is, in fact, gold with 1 silver leg. As is shown in pictures like this. Because he was put together from lots of other droids. People are subscribing because I'm so shit at running quizzes. Thank you very much, Walter. Right, now Steven's out with the C3PO question. Fine, okay. Question number 8. In Snow White, what is the exact line the Queen says? Is it magic mirror on the wall? Is it mirror, mirror on the wall? Is it magic mirror of the mall? Or mirror, mirror of the fall? You think it might be magic mirror on the wall. It is indeed magic mirror on the wall. Still nobody in, obviously. So at least the thing's working this time. Question 9. What franchise were Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny from? Were they from Looney Tunes, from Looney Tunes, from Looney Tune, or Disney? Nobody's going for Disney. Can't believe it. 5 have gone for Looney Tunes, 4 for Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes would make much more sense. It's Looney Tunes. And your final question of the evening. When did Mother Teresa die? 1997, 1977, 1937, or 1907? Is this only a Mandela effect because the Americans can't pronounce TUN? Everyone's gone for 1997. And that's correct. Apparently, when asked, most people said she was alive in the 1800s. And died in the 1800s. But yep, she died in 1997. She was born in something like 1910. So, wah, wah, wah. For the scores on the doors, in fact, let me show you this one. This will make a bit more sense. Error 404 got 9 out of 10. Juggler got 9 out of 10. Stevie P got 9 out of 10. Mona Lee got 8. Strabo 8. Or is that 6? I can't see it. No, that's a 6. Zenny 6. Hazy 5. 4. 2 2 0 0. So close, Error 404, Juggler, and Stevie P, because I was thinking about giving away Fluval FX6 to the winner tonight. So I've got an extra one. Oh well, maybe next week. And that, my friends, has taken up almost exactly to 11 o'clock. We've done pretty well. In fact, we've done so well that most of you have already left. I think this is like a stream just for the hardcore aquarium adventurers. So there's only about 20 of you here at the moment. So I want to thank you all for sticking with me and showing up, giving me a little bit of support. Because on the quiet evenings, that's what happens. Settle for an FX2. I've got an FX2 as well, yeah. If Fluval are watching, apparently my Fluval rep is changing, so if the new rep is watching, I'd kind of like another FX6 for this tank. This tank's running on an FX2 at the moment. So I'd like to swap that out for a bigger filter. 7:30 PM here. Yes, well, it's about to turn 11 o'clock here. It's as if you planned the schedule. You know I don't do planning. I try. But yes, we've got up there. So, as I said, next week I'm hoping to do a little bit more Graham out and about type videos. And I'm going to try a little bit more on my planting videos. If you're interested, and I haven't plugged it yet tonight. The light came back on. Christmas. Buy one of your loved ones or / hated ones my book. I wrote a book. It's available on Amazon. It's available on Amazon, or if you buy it off my website, I will sign it and write something in it for you. That would be lovely. I have sold a whole bunch of copies of these on Amazon. It's done really quite well. So thank you to everyone who has bought it. Truly appreciate it. The light's gone off again. But you know, still got more to sell, and it's Christmas. Plants, get on the website. Merch, get on the website. Buy my things, watch my things. Thank you very much. See you all next week. Have a lovely weekend and get up to lots of trouble. Bye.